They thought she was just another quiet black girl trying to get through her first week at Northridge High School. In a cafeteria teeming with bullies, Maya Jordan sat alone until the school's notorious bullies decided she would be the perfect public target. They laughed, filmed, and poured water over her head as if she were nothing. But here's the surprise they never anticipated. Maya wasn't weak. She wasn't afraid. She was a professional kung fu instructor pretending to be normal. And today, their humiliation was coming. The Northridge High cafeteria was always loud at lunchtime, metal trays clattering, sneakers screeching across the floor, clusters of students arguing, laughing, gossiping. But when Maya Jordan walked in, clutching her backpack strap with one hand and her lunch tray with the other, the noise seemed to thin around her like the school itself was watching. She kept her head low. Her curls framed her face, still damp from the light morning rain outside. She scanned the room quickly, not out of fear, but calculation, and chose the table farthest from the crowd, tucked right beneath a flickering fluorescent light. She sat, unwrapped her sandwich, and hoped for silence. But silence didn't exist at Northridge, especially not for someone like her. Black, new, quiet, and alone. Across the room, the varsity Wolves lounged like they owned the place. The orange and white Letterman jackets made them impossible to miss. Cole Hale, the captain, rested his sneakers on the bench, leaning back like a king surveying his territory. Mason and Ryan flanked him, laughing loudly at something on Mason's phone. Cole wasn't laughing, though. His eyes had locked onto Maya the second she walked in. "What do we have here?" he muttered, smirking. Ryan looked up. "New girl?" Cole stood, grabbing his drink. "New toy," Mason chuckled. "Go easy, bro. It's only her first week." Cole clicked his tongue. "Exactly. Gotta show her how things work around here." He didn't wait for an answer. He walked straight toward Maya with the confidence of someone who had never once been told no. Maya sensed him before hearing him. His footsteps were heavy, cocky, dragging the attention of everyone within earshot. She didn't look up until his shadow fell across her tray. "Why are you sitting alone, rookie?" Cole asked, voice dripping mockery. Maya blinked slowly. "I prefer it. Cute," he sneered. "But see, at Northridge, sitting alone means you're asking for attention." She knew what was coming. The exact same routine she had seen in too many schools before this one. The exact same type of boy. Maya didn't flinch. She didn't shrink. She didn't give him the reaction he wanted. She simply held his gaze calm, steady, unreadable. Cole hated it. "Look at me," he said, stepping closer. She didn't. That was the final spark he needed. Without a moment of hesitation, he tilted his cup and dumped the entire cold drink over her head. Gasps burst across the cafeteria. Then laughter. Laughter that stabbed the air and ricocheted off the walls. Maya's curls dripped. Her uniform soaked through instantly. The ice slid down her back. Still, she didn't move. Her hand paused midair, hovering above her tray. Her jaw tightened so slightly the average person would miss it. But Cole didn't. "Oh?" he said mockingly. No screaming, no crying, not even a, "Why me?" He stretched his arms wide as if performing for an audience. "Come on, give us something." But she didn't. She stayed still, breathing once slow, controlled. That steadiness unsettled Cole in a way he didn't understand. His friends joined him, clapping, laughing, shouting things Maya didn't bother processing. Cole grinned, shaking the empty cup at her like a trophy. "I like her," he announced loudly. "She's got spirit. Tomorrow?" He pointed at Mason and Ryan. "We go bigger!" The Wolves cheered. Only then did Maya stand. She didn't shove past them. She didn't run. She simply rose, water dripping onto the floor, and walked out of the cafeteria like a storm contained inside a glass bottle. But as she passed Cole, she turned her head just enough for him to see her eyes sharp, unblinking, memorizing him with a precision that made his smirk falter for the first time. Cole Hale. She had the name now. And this wasn't over, not even close. The guidance counselor's office was always too quiet, walls painted soft beige, a diffuser humming lavender into the air. inspirational posters taped crookedly above a filing cabinet. It was the kind of room meant to calm students down. But today, something about it felt heavy. Miss Rivera sat behind her desk, glasses perched at the tip of her nose, as she clicked through Maya Jordan's digital student file. She had asked Maya to come in after hearing murmurs about an incident in the cafeteria. No details, just whispers. But Northridge whispers always meant trouble. Maya sat across from her, still wearing the same damp uniform from lunch. She hadn't asked for a change of clothes. She hadn't complained. She waited silently, hands folded neatly in her lap. Miss Rivera cleared her throat. "Maya, I just want to check in. I know transferring mid-year isn't easy." No response. Maya's eyes stayed fixed on the corner of the desk. Miss Rivera exhaled softly and returned to the student file. At first glance, everything looked normal, straight A's, recommendation letters from teachers at her old school, clean attendance. But then she noticed a locked tab. Extracurricular activities. Restricted. That was unusual. She clicked it. An authorization prompt flashed on the screen. To her surprise, the system granted her access. Inside the tab, there were only 3 lines. Teaching assistant, youth martial arts program, advanced combat skills, certified, high-level physical discipline training. That was it. No details, no style, no program history, no description of the combat skills she was supposedly certified in. Miss Rivera frowned. Schools didn't redact extracurriculars unless parents specifically requested it, and even then, they never hid the type of activity. "What kind of martial arts did you study?" she asked gently. Maya blinked once. "Various." It was the kind of answer that shut doors instead of opening them. Miss Rivera hesitated, then clicked into the file comments. A single confidential note sat there, marked by her previous counselor. Student possesses advanced fight training. Avoid provoking physical demonstrations. Responds calmly to conflict but is highly skilled. Highly skilled. That phrase stuck in Miss Rivera's mind like a pin. She looked up at Maya again. The girl's posture was perfect, straight back, shoulders relaxed, hands still. But it wasn't compliance, it was discipline, controlled stillness. "Maya," Miss Rivera said softly, "are you okay after what happened in the cafeteria?" Silence stretched for a long, thin second. Then Maya finally spoke, her voice barely above a whisper, but stable. "I'm used to it." The counselor's heart dropped. "Used to it?" "Maya, no one should be used to that." She leaned forward. "If someone hurt you, it's fine." Maya cut in. Though her tone wasn't rude, it was matter of fact. Final. They'll move on. Something in her eyes, calm, unshaken, sent a chill down Miss Rivera's spine. Not fear, not sadness, restraint, as if Maya was holding something back. As if there was more to her than the quiet girl dripping water in the cafeteria. Before Miss Rivera could say more, a sharp knock hit the door. A student aide poked their head in. "Miss Rivera, sorry, but Principal Harris needs you." Something about, a cafeteria disturbance. The aide glanced at Maya and quickly looked away. Miss Rivera nodded. "I'll be right there." The door closed. She turned back to Maya slowly. "I don't want to assume anything, but if those boys targeted you, they target everyone," Maya said. "They're just efficient. Who describes bullies like that?" Miss Rivera sensed something wrong, like Maya wasn't scared of the boys, but of what she might do if pushed. "I'm here if you need help," the counselor said. Maya gave a small nod. "Thank you." Not agreement, just acknowledgement. When Maya left the office, Miss Rivera watched her go with a tight chest. There was something brewing under that calm exterior, something the cafeteria hadn't seen yet. And outside, word of the lunchroom humiliation was spreading through the school like wildfire. The varsity Wolves heard every detail, and they were already planning their next move. The basketball court behind Northridge High was the Wolves' unofficial kingdom. Faded lines, sunburnt bleachers, and a rusted hoop gave it the look of a place where rules didn't apply because when the varsity boys gathered there, they truly didn't. Cole Hale strutted across the asphalt, spinning a basketball on his finger with the arrogance of someone who believed gravity existed just to impress him. Mason leaned against the bleachers, scrolling through his phone. Ryan tossed pebbles at a trash can. And Brett, newest member, eager to fit in, sat on a bench hanging onto every word, Cole said. "So," Cole bragged loudly, "I gave the new girl her welcome bath today." Ryan smirked. "Whole cafeteria saw it. Dude, the way her hair dripped? Classic." Mason chuckled. "Did she cry?" Cole scoffed. "Not even close. She just sat there. Didn't flinch. Didn't look scared. It was like she's dead inside or something." Brett raised an eyebrow. "Weird. Weird," Cole repeated, irritated. "No, she's just stubborn. But tomorrow," his grin sharpened, "tomorrow she breaks." Before Mason could reply, a quiet voice cut in from behind the bleachers. "You sure about that?" The four boys turned. A smaller kid, Evan, a sophomore known for avoiding eye contact and getting shoved into lockers, stood there, arms wrapped around his backpack straps like a shield. Cole narrowed his eyes. "What do you want, runt?" Evan swallowed hard. I heard what you did, but that girl, she isn't like the others." Mason rolled his eyes. "Oh, please, she's new. New ones always act tough for a day or two." "No," Evan insisted, voice trembling. "I saw her earlier today. Someone threw a bottle at her. She didn't just step aside, she moved before the bottle even reached her. Like a ninja or something." The wolves went silent for a moment, then erupted into laughter. Ryan nearly doubled over. "A ninja? Seriously?" Mason clapped Cole on the shoulder. "Bro, maybe you pissed off a secret agent." Cole let the laughter die before speaking. "Look, Evan, you're small. You get scared fast. That's your thing. But she's just a new girl trying to act brave." Evan didn't back down. "I'm telling you, something's off." Cole stepped forward, towering over him. "And I'm telling you to get lost." Evan shrank back, but not before whispering, "Just be careful." They watched him hurry away. Brett snorted. What a weirdo. But the smallest flicker of curiosity crossed Cole's face, quickly replaced by ego. Mason stretched, cracking his knuckles. "All right, back to business. You said you want to go bigger tomorrow?" "Oh, I'm going way bigger," Cole said. "She didn't react today, but I'll find a way to crack her." Mason raised a brow, then smirked. $50. Cole blinked. "What?" "Cole, I bet you $50 you can't make her cry," Mason said, crossing his arms. "Real tears, not the fake stuff." Ryan whistled. "Damn, that's a challenge." Cole's competitive streak flared instantly. "You're on!" He jabbed a thumb toward his chest. "I'll make her cry so hard the whole school hears it." "Good," Mason said, "because if you're going for round 2, you need to commit. Make it public. Make it loud." Ryan chimed in with a wicked grin. "Right in the middle of the main hallway. Peak traffic. No teachers." Cole nodded, already seeing the humiliation play out in his mind. Tomorrow, she becomes the school joke. They slapped hands, sealing the deal. But none of them noticed the soft footstep at the edge of the court. Maya Jordan, walking past on her way home, had frozen at the sound of a familiar name. Hers. Then another word, hallway. Her eyes narrowed slightly. Her breath exhaled slow. That same controlled calm from the cafeteria returned, but darker. She didn't make a sound. Didn't interrupt. Just listened. Memorizing every voice, every detail. When she turned away, her expression wasn't fear. It was preparation. And the wolves had no idea what tomorrow would bring. The sun had barely dipped below the rooftops when Maya pushed open the sliding door of the old kung fu studio. The familiar scent of sandalwood and worn tatami mats wrapped around her like an anchor, grounding her in a way nothing at North Ridge ever could. The studio was dim, lit only by a row of lanterns that cast warm golden circles across the polished floor. This place wasn't just a training hall, it was home. Master Chen stood near the far end, his back toward her, hands clasped behind him as he stared at the calligraphy scrolls lining the wall. Without even turning, he spoke. "You're late." Maya dropped her backpack by the entrance. "I came as fast as I could." Master Chen pivoted, his eyes scanning her from head to toe. "Your uniform is still wet." She glanced down at the faint water stains still clinging to her shirt. "It's nothing." He raised a brow. "Nothing does not soak a student's clothing." Maya didn't answer. Silence stretched, heavy but familiar. As she stepped onto the training floor, she bowed deeply. "Permission to practice." Master Chen nodded once. "Begin." What followed was a storm, silent, controlled, breathtaking. Maya moved with precision, carved from years of discipline. Her fists snapped through the air like breaking branches. Her kicks sliced through space with elegant violence. She dropped low, spun, rose, pivoted, each movement flowing into the next like water shifting through carved stone. The dojo echoed with the rhythmic impact of her strikes against the wooden dummy. Thud, crack, snap. Her breathing stayed measured, steady, controlled. But beneath that calm rhythm, something churned. Master Chen watched her carefully. Not her technique perfect as always, but the tension coiled behind every movement. When she finished her final sequence, she stood still, chest rising and falling, sweat beading along her brow. "Again," Master Chen said. She obeyed without hesitation. But this time, the strikes were sharper, the steps heavier, the energy more volatile. Finally, Master Chen lifted a hand. "Enough." Maya froze mid-motion, breath catching. He approached slowly, eyes narrowed with concern. "I heard something troubling today." Her shoulders tensed. "North Ridge," he continued. "A cafeteria incident." Maya didn't deny it. Master Chen crossed his arms. "You promised to keep a low profile." "I'm trying," she said, voice tight. "I really am." "Trying," he echoed. "Yet your spirit is storming." She exhaled a long, weary breath. "They're relentless. They don't stop. They act like the school belongs to them." "And you?" he asked. "Does it belong to you?" "No," she said, "but my dignity does." Master Chen's expression softened, but only slightly. "You know your training gives you power most teenagers cannot comprehend. Power requires restraint." "I know. And restraint requires patience." "I know." But her eyes told the truth. Patience was cracking. Master Chen studied her for a long moment, then spoke quietly. "Tell me what happened." "They humiliated me," she said, voice flat. "In front of everyone." A flicker of fire lit her gaze, not wild, but contained, controlled, like a blade still in its sheath. Master Chen nodded slowly, thoughtfully. "And if they do it again?" Maya hesitated. That was enough of an answer. He stepped closer, placing a firm hand on her shoulder, steadying, grounding. "Maya," he said, voice low but heavy with meaning. "If they touch you again, you know what you must do." Her jaw tightened, her eyes lowered. "Yes, master." "Not out of anger," he reminded, "but out of necessity. I understand." "Good." He released her. "Now go home, rest. Tomorrow we'll test you." As Maya bowed and stepped out of the dojo, the night air felt sharper. The moon hung low, bright and cold, much like the storm simmering beneath her calm exterior. Tomorrow, the hallways of North Ridge High would no longer be just hallways. They would be a battleground. The main hallway of North Ridge High was always chaos, right before third-period lockers slamming, backpacks swinging, conversations clashing into a noisy, unstoppable river of movement. It was the kind of crowd where small incidents got swallowed whole. Perfect for people like Cole Hale. Maya walked steadily through the current of students. Books clutched to her chest. Eyes forward, she wasn't avoiding anyone. She simply moved with intention, smooth, quiet, unnoticed. At least until the wolves decided she shouldn't be. Cole stepped out from behind a row of lockers, blocking her path with a smirk that screamed trouble. Mason and Ryan flanked him, forming a wall of Letterman jackets and loud arrogance. Brett stood slightly behind, phone already recording as if they'd planned a show. Maya stopped, not startled, Not nervous. Just still. Well, well, Cole drawled. If it isn't our favorite lunchtime superstar. He leaned in. How's the bath treating you? Students nearby slowed, sensing incoming drama. A few whispered. Others pretended not to care while staring blatantly. Maya's expression didn't change. Move. Cole clutched his chest dramatically. Move? That's it? No please? No gratitude for the warm welcome? His voice shifted lower, more venomous. You people really don't understand respect, huh? A few gasps rippled through the crowd. He knew exactly what he said. He wanted her to react. Maya didn't. Instead, she stepped to the left. Cole moved with her, shoulder blocking her again. Where are you going? We're not done. He glanced at her books. What are you studying? Ways to look more harmless? Before she could answer, he swatted the stack of books from her hands. They hit the floor, hard papers scattering like startled birds. The hallway fell quiet. Maya exhaled once and crouched to pick them up. That's when Cole did it. He lifted his foot slowly, intentionally, and aimed it straight at her hand on the floor. A sick thrill lit his face. He wanted to hurt her, not badly, just enough to send a message. But the shoe never touched her, because the moment his foot descended, Maya's hand disappeared from under it. Not slid, not flinched, vanished. She moved with impossible speed, pulling back so precisely the air around her seemed to shift. Cole's foot hit the floor with a heavy smack. The students watching sucked in a collective breath. What the? Ryan muttered. Mason frowned. Did you see that? Brett lowered his phone a little, confused. She moved before he even. Cole forced a laugh to mask his surprise. Relax. She just got lucky. But his eyes betrayed him. He had seen it too. And for a split second, something cold twisted in his stomach. Maya rose slowly, books back in her hands, posture perfect. She met Cole's eyes, not angry, not scared, but edged with warning. He smirked again, trying to regain dominance. I saw that, he said. You're quick. He leaned closer, fast enough to dodge, but not fast enough to escape what's coming. The hallway seemed to shrink around them. Maya didn't blink. You won't do that again. Her tone was flat, calm, terrifyingly certain. Cole's smirk faltered, only for half a second, but it was enough. Students exchanged glances. Something felt off. Wrong. The girl they thought was quiet seemed to be something else entirely. Cole straightened, jaw tightening. We'll see about that. But she was already walking away, controlled steps, shoulders steady, as if nothing had happened. Cole stared after her, fury simmering under his skin. She wants to play? He muttered. Fine. I'll show her what real humiliation is. Ryan nudged him. Tomorrow? Cole nodded sharply. Tomorrow, and this time, everyone watches. As the wolves regrouped, whispering plans through clenched teeth, one thing was clear. Maya Jordan had crossed an invisible line, and Cole Hale intended to make her pay for it. The locker room of the Northridge basketball team was usually filled with the smell of sweat, cologne, and victory. Today, it reeked of something else, rage. Cole Hale slammed his locker door so hard, the metallic echo rattled through the entire room. His chest rose and fell with uneven breaths, face flushed with humiliation. She said, I wouldn't do it again, he growled. She said that. To me, Mason lounged on a bench nearby, spinning a basketball lazily. Relax, man. It was just one moment where she made me look stupid in front of half the hallway. Cole snapped, kicking a pile of towels aside. Everyone saw it. Everyone. Ryan, leaning against a row of lockers, shrugged. So? Just hit harder tomorrow. Cole turned sharply. Not enough. Not anymore. He paced the room with the kind of bottled fury that made even his friends uneasy. She thinks she's brave? Cool. Let's make her famous. Mason grinned. Oh? What's the plan? Cole stopped walking and faced them with a crooked smile, sharp, cold, calculated. We film it, he said. We film everything. Ryan lifted a brow. Everything as in everything, Cole repeated. We humiliate her in front of everyone, get it all on camera, and let the whole damn school watch it online. She'll be a meme by lunch. No one will ever forget her name. Mason let out a low whistle. Savage. Cole shrugged. She asked for it. Brett, who had been suspiciously quiet in the corner, stepped forward. If we're filming it, we need to make sure there's no evidence against us. Cole eyed him. Meaning? Brett bit his lip before lowering his voice. Meaning, we need to deal with the hallway cameras. Ryan frowned. Dude, those are locked. Not for me, Brett smirked. My dad installs security systems for the district. I know the access code for the main hallway's panel. We can go in before school starts, delete whatever we want, and then, push her around a little. He shrugged, casually. Accidents happen. Cole's eyes lit up. Well, damn, Brett, Mason laughed. Didn't think you had that kind of evil in you. Brett puffed up slightly. I'm not evil. I'm smart. Smart enough to get us a clean slate, Cole said. Good. Because tomorrow is going to be big. Bigger than the cafeteria. Bigger than the hallway today. He spread his arms like a ringmaster. I want the whole school to know who runs this place. Ryan cracked his knuckles. Then we do it between second and third period. Hallways packed. Teachers are busy. No one pays attention. And she won't see it coming, Brett added. Cole exhaled, a satisfied smile spreading across his face. Tomorrow, she breaks. Mason's grin widened dark, hungry. Tomorrow she remembers us forever. Damn right, Cole said. The wolves don't get challenged. Not by some quiet new girl who thinks dodging one kick makes her special. He slammed his locker one last time. Tomorrow, she learns her place. The boys laughed, hyped by their own cruelty, feeding off each other's arrogance and adrenaline. The echo of their voices filled the locker room like a storm gathering strength, but none of them noticed the door to the storage closet cracked open just an inch. None of them heard the soft intake of breath behind it. None of them saw the pair of wide, terrified eyes watching them. Someone had heard everything, and tomorrow would not unfold the way the wolves expected. The hallway leading out to the sports field was quiet after school, quiet enough that every footstep echoed faintly against the scratched linoleum floor. Liam Parker moved through it cautiously, glancing over his shoulder every few seconds, as if expecting a wolf to leap from the shadows. Maybe not a real wolf, but the varsity wolves were close enough. His palms were sweating, his backpack strap dug into his shoulder. But he didn't slow down. He needed to find Maya. Now, he had heard everything, every word Cole and the others said in the locker room. The recording plan, the deleted cameras, the humiliation they wanted to make global. His stomach twisted each time the memory replayed. He knew what it felt like to be on the receiving end of their games. He still had a faint scar on his wrist from when Cole shoved him into a trophy case last semester. Finally, Liam reached the library. The moment he pushed the door open, the scent of old paper washed over him. The room was quiet, lit with warm lamps and hushed whispers. Maya sat at a side table, alone as usual, a thick textbook open in front of her. She didn't look up when he approached. Maya, Liam whispered, voice cracking. She lifted her gaze, eyes calm but sharp. Yes? He swallowed hard and darted a look around the library, making sure no one else was close enough to hear. Then he leaned in. They're planning something, he said quickly. Something worse, way worse. Maya closed her book gently. Who? You know who, Liam hissed. Cole, Mason, all of them. She didn't seem surprised, not even slightly. What are they planning? Liam hesitated, breath shuddering. They want to film you. Humiliate you in front of everyone. Post it online. Make sure it goes everywhere. Maya's expression stayed neutral. When? Between second and third period tomorrow. In the main hallway. They're gonna block you, shove you, pour stuff on you. I don't know everything. He rubbed his arms nervously. But it's bad. Real bad. Maya leaned back slightly, assessing him. Why are you telling me this? Liam's face flushed. Because I heard it. All of it. I was in the storage closet during practice. I wasn't supposed to be there. He exhaled, panicked. I don't want them to hurt you the way they hurt me. Maya tilted her head. What else did they say? Liam's voice dropped to a whisper. Brett said his dad knows the security codes. They're planning to wipe the hallway camera footage so they can do whatever they want. That finally made Maya's brow lift just a fraction. Liam stepped closer. You have to tell someone. The principal. A teacher, anyone. If you go down that hall tomorrow, you're walking straight into their trap. He waited for fear to cross her face. It didn't. Instead, Maya said calmly, "Thank you for telling me." Liam blinked. That's it? That's all you're gonna say? Maya, they're serious. I saw how Cole looked. He wants to destroy you. She stood and gathered her things with quiet precision. I know. You know? Liam stammered. Then why aren't you freaking out? Maya slipped her backpack over one shoulder. Her eyes were steady, unwavering. Because I'll be ready. Liam's throat tightened. She wasn't bluffing. She wasn't being brave. She genuinely wasn't scared. His voice dropped to a fragile whisper. Why aren't you afraid of them? Maya paused, then met his gaze with a calmness that unnerved him to his core. Because they're not as dangerous as they think. The words sent a chill through him. Before he could ask what she meant, Maya walked past him, steps smooth, posture steady, as if she were heading toward something she'd prepared for her entire life. Liam watched her go, heart pounding, confusion tightening his chest. He had expected panic, or tears, or fear. But Maya Jordan walked away like someone who already knew the outcome of tomorrow's fight. As she disappeared around the corner, her expression remained unchanged, serene, silent, and strangely ready. It was the look of a storm waiting for the exact second to break. And the wolves had no idea the storm was heading straight for them. The security equipment room sat at the end of a rarely used hallway, quiet, dim, and always locked. A dusty sign reading "Authorized personnel" only hung crookedly on the door, but rules at North Ridge didn't apply to the wolves, not when one of them had the access codes. Brett keyed in the numbers with shaking hands. Beep, beep, beep. A final click, and the heavy metal door swung open. They slipped inside. The room hummed with low machinery servers, stacked against the wall, blinking lights flickering like restless stars. Monitors covered the far desk, looping footage from different parts of the school. Ryan closed the door behind them, swallowing hard. Dude, we shouldn't be doing this. Brett rolled his eyes, trying to hide his own nerves. Relax. My dad uses the same system at home. This'll take 5 minutes. He sat at the computer, fingers tapping rapidly as he navigated through the interface. Ryan hovered behind him, shifting from foot to foot. You sure you know what you're doing? Ryan whispered. Yes, Brett snapped, though the faint tremor in his voice said otherwise. I just need to find today's lunch hallway feed and delete the last hour. After that, we wipe tomorrow's footage once we're done. And no one can prove anything, Ryan murmured, almost in awe. That's the point, Brett muttered. He clicked a folder labeled Cafeteria. Noon, expecting to see normal lunchtime chaos. The video opened. Students moving around, tables filled, people laughing. The usual noise muted on the screen but visually chaotic. Then Cole appeared. Then Maya. Then, the moment everyone in the cafeteria had talked about. But on camera, it looked different. Much different. Cole dumped the drink. Maya didn't flinch, but the camera caught angles no human eye could see in the moment. The way her shoulders tensed, the way her muscles shifted, the way her gaze sharpened with a predator's precision. She's creepy calm, Ryan whispered. Brett said nothing, scrolling forward. Then came the hallway scene from later that day, the one right after lunch. Ryan leaned closer. Wait, this is the part where he tried to stomp her hand, right? Yeah, Brett muttered. Let's just delete. He froze. On the screen, Cole's foot came down fast, but Maya's hand moved faster, much faster. In a single frame, her fingers were beneath his shoe. In the next, they were several inches away, already retracted with perfect control. No stumble, no panic, just clean, inhuman precision. Ryan's mouth fell open. Dude, what the hell was that? Brett replayed the moment. Slow motion made it even clearer. Her reflexes weren't just good, they were unnatural. "She's not normal," Brett whispered, almost reverently. "Dude." She moved before his foot even touched the ground. Ryan swallowed. "You think she's like some kind of fighter? Or something worse?" For a brief moment, fear crept into Brett's voice. But then, adrenaline replaced it. "If she thinks she's tough," he murmured, leaning back in the chair, "then tomorrow we push harder. I want to see how far she can go." Ryan hesitated. "What if she hits back?" Brett snorted. "She won't. Girls like her don't fight back. They freeze." "She didn't freeze today," Ryan muttered. "Exactly," Brett smirked. "Which means tomorrow will be interesting." He highlighted the footage. His finger hovered over delete, but he didn't press it yet. He watched the moment one more time, Maya moving like she could read the future. "She's hiding something," he whispered. "And I want to know what." Then he clicked delete. The footage vanished. Ryan wiped his palms on his jeans. "Tomorrow's gonna be crazy." Brett stood, shutting down the system. "Good, let's see what she really is." As they left the room, the humming servers continued blinking in the dark, unaware that the wolves had just erased the only warning sign that could have stopped what was coming. Tomorrow, they wouldn't be cautious. They'd be bold, and that decision would cost them far more than they ever imagined. The final bell had long echoed through the building, leaving the main hallway eerily quiet. Sunlight filtered through the tall windows, casting long shadows across the floor, turning the empty space into something that felt more like a stage than a school corridor. It was the perfect place for an ambush. Exactly what the wolves wanted. Cole, Mason, Ryan, and Brett moved quickly, setting up their trap with practiced ease. Mason tipped over a trash bin, spreading wrappers and spilled soda across the floor. Ryan placed half-empty water bottles on the ledge above the lockers, positioned to fall with just the slightest nudge. Brett held his phone tightly, camera already rolling, the red recording dot glowing like an accusation. "Make sure everything's ready," Cole snapped, adjusting his varsity jacket. "She walks through here every day at this time," Mason smirked. "Got the food?" He pulled out a greasy carton of leftover cafeteria noodles and handed it to Cole. "Right on her head?" "Oh yeah," Cole said, shaking the box for emphasis. "And then the push. Right into the wall. She won't see it coming." Ryan chuckled. "This is going to be legendary." Brett nodded, though his hands trembled with excitement, or nerves, maybe both. "Just wait until the video hits the group chat." Cole leaned against a locker, cracking his knuckles. "She thought she could embarrass me. She thought she could talk back." His grin darkened. Today's her reality check. They didn't have to wait long. Footsteps approached, soft, steady, familiar. Maya Jordan turned the corner, her backpack slung over one shoulder, her face calm as always. She moved down the hallway with the same controlled steps she always had, unaware or appearing unaware of the four figures waiting in the shadows. Cole stepped out, blocking her path. "Well, look who decided to show." Maya stopped, gaze lifting slowly. "Move." Cole laughed. "Oh, we're past the move stage, sweetheart." He tilted the noodle box. "We're at the fun part." Ryan snickered as he kicked the trash forward, litter scattering at her feet. "Oops!" Brett kept the camera pointed directly at her face. "Smile for the internet, Maya." She didn't react. She didn't flinch. She simply stared at them, eyes unreadable. Cole moved in closer, lifting the carton of noodles. "Round 2. Hope you're ready." She didn't look at the box. She didn't look at his hands. Her eyes stayed locked on his. Then she spoke soft, but sharp enough to cut through the air. "I gave you a chance." Cole blinked. "What?" Maya's voice didn't rise. It didn't tremble. "I gave you a chance. You ignored it." Cole burst out laughing, head thrown back. "A chance? You gave me a chance?" He took a step closer. "You're insane." Mason barked a laugh. "Yo, Cole. She thinks she's the boss now." Ryan clapped sarcastically. "This is gold. Keep going." But Maya wasn't trying to be intimidating. She was stating a fact. She inhaled once slow, deep, controlled. Then her foot slid back half an inch. Her shoulders shifted. Her center of gravity sank. She eased into a stance so fluid, so deliberate, the hallway seemed to hold its breath. Brett's camera wavered. Guys? Cole didn't notice or didn't care. He shoved his phone into Mason's hand and lunged forward, grabbing Maya's shoulder, preparing to drive her into the wall. A spark snapped across the air. That one touch, just that single contact, was the fuse. Maya's eyes sharpened. Her muscles tightened. Her stance locked. Everything went silent. The wind-up before a storm. The split second before lightning strikes. Cole didn't realize what he had just triggered. But Maya did. And the hallway was about to learn the truth of what she'd been holding back. For a split second, time held its breath. The hallway stretched endlessly behind Maya, empty lockers reflecting faint streaks of late-afternoon light. No teachers, no witnesses, no one to save the wolves from what they were about to trigger. Cole's fingers dug into Maya's shoulder with the full intent of slamming her into the wall. He didn't get the chance, because in the exact millisecond his hand made contact, Maya moved. Not with panic, not with instinct, but with precision. Second one. Maya's stance shifted, hips rotating, weight dropping, her body turning sideways with a fluidity that looked more like water than movement. Cole's hand slipped off her shoulder as she redirected his force. Second two. Her arm shot up, catching his wrist in a tight grip. With her opposite hand, she pressed just below his elbow, a pressure point that sent shockwaves of pain through his entire arm. Cole gasped, confusion flashing across his face. Second three. Maya pivoted behind him, locking his arm in a textbook joint hold. Cole's knees buckled, and before he could even register what was happening, second four. She swept his legs. The floor thundered as Cole crashed down, breath knocked out of him, his body pinned beneath her control. Mason blinked, frozen halfway through a laugh. "What the—" Maya released Cole and stepped back. Cole groaned, rolling onto his side, clutching his arm. She broke something." "No," Maya said calmly. "I didn't." Her voice wasn't taunting. It was informational, almost gentle. That terrified him even more. Mason snapped out of his shock first. "You!" he roared, charging toward her with his full weight. Maya didn't even look directly at him. She sidestepped, planted her foot, and spun. Her heel arced through the air in a flawless roundhouse kick, clean, fast, controlled. It slammed into Mason's chest with a thundering impact. He flew backward, hitting the lockers so hard the entire row rattled. He collapsed in a heap, wheezing like the air had been punched out of his lungs, because it had. Ryan's jaw hung open. "Bro, Mason's down, she knocked him, he's what is she? Get her!" Brett shrieked, though his voice cracked halfway through. He lifted his phone, but his hands shook so violently the camera was just a blur of motion. Ryan lunged first, more from fear than courage. Maya caught his wrist mid-swing, twisted gently, too gently, for the severity of the effect, and Ryan dropped straight to the floor with a cry, clutching his arm in agony. Before Brett could even decide whether to fight or run, Maya stepped forward, grabbed the front of his jacket, and used his momentum against him. He flipped, clean, effortless, silent. Brett hit the ground flat on his back, breath exploding from his lungs. His phone skittered across the floor, spinning to a stop with the camera still recording the lens, capturing the wolves' defeat from a humiliating angle. The hallway fell into a stunned silence. The wolves groaned and writhed on the ground like broken marionettes. Maya stood in the center of them, calm, poised, breathing lightly. Not even winded, her eyes swept across the four fallen boys. Not with cruelty, but with clarity, as if she had been waiting for this exact moment. Cole, still on his elbows, stared up at her with terror spreading through his face. What are you?" Maya crouched down, meeting his eyes. "I'm a kung fu instructor," she said softly. "And you just made the biggest mistake of your life." Cole's breath hitched, his face drained of color. He tried to scramble backward, but pain pulsed up his arm and forced him still. The reality hit him harder than her takedown did. She could have hurt them much more. She chose not to. That terrified him more than anything. Maya stood again, her shadow falling over all four of them. Cole's voice trembled. "Dee, don't touch me. Please." But before Maya could respond, footsteps echoed at the far end of the hallway. Teachers. And behind them, the red light of a hallway camera blinked silently, a detail Maya had not noticed. The wolves weren't the only ones who had triggered something irreversible today. This wasn't over, not even close. The echoes of the fight had barely faded when hurried footsteps cut through the hallway. Maya stepped back instinctively, her breathing calm, her stance neutral. The wolves remained sprawled on the floor, groaning, clutching their ribs, their pride shattered more than their bodies. Then Miss Monroe rounded the corner. She stopped dead in her tracks, eyes widening as she took in the scene before her. 4 varsity athletes on the ground, gasping. Maya standing in the middle, barely a hair out of place. "What on earth happened here?" she demanded, voice sharp with disbelief. Cole pushed himself upright with a dramatic wince, immediately seizing the moment. He coughed, pointing a trembling finger at Maya. "She attacked us. She just snapped and went crazy." Miss Monroe's gaze shot to Maya, stunned. "Maya? Is that true?" "Maya didn't move. They ambushed me." Cole cut her off with a shout. "Lies! She jumped us for no reason. We were just walking." Ryan gripped his shoulder, groaning for effect. "She flipped us, all of us." Mason clutched his side, adding, "She kicked me into the lockers. Look at this bruise." Even Brett, still gasping on the floor, threw in a weak, "She's dangerous." Miss Monroe hovered, torn. Her eyes darted between Maya, the quiet new girl, and the wolves, the school's treasured athletes with spotless reputations and influential parents. "Why would she?" Miss Monroe muttered, trying to make sense of it. "Maya, this is serious. Very serious." Maya lifted her chin slightly. "They planned this." Cole scoffed theatrically. "Yeah. Plan to get beat up?" "Sure." Miss Monroe raised a hand toward Maya. "I need you to come with me. We're going to the office." But before she could finish, another voice broke through the hallway. "Wait." Liam skidded into view, breathless, pale, eyes huge with fear and urgency. All heads turned toward him. Miss Monroe blinked. "Liam, what are you doing here?" Liam stepped between Maya and the wolves, though his legs trembled. "They're lying," he said, voice cracking but determined. "They set her up. I heard everything." Cole stiffened. "What the hell are you?" Liam raised his voice. "I heard everything. In the locker room, they planned to humiliate her, to record it. And they were going to delete the cameras first." Miss Monroe froze. "Delete the cameras?" Brett paled, his face draining of color. "He's making that up." "No, I'm not," Liam insisted, turning to Miss Monroe. "Check the security room. You'll see the log someone accessed it earlier today, and you'll see the cafeteria footage too. They started this, not her." Cole's jaw clenched. "Shut up, Liam." But Liam didn't. He pointed toward the blinking red hallway camera at the far end, still recording, still watching. "Miss Monroe," he said shakily, "you need to see the cameras." Silence fell. A heavy, charged silence. Miss Monroe's expression shifted slowly, her eyes narrowing as something cold and uneasy settled across her features. Doubt. Real doubt. She turned toward Maya again, but this time the skepticism had drained from her face, replaced by something sharper. Concern? Realization? Fear of what she might uncover? "We're going," she said firmly. She looked at the wolves. "All of you." Cole swallowed hard. Miss Monroe gestured down the hall. "To the security office? Now." Maya stepped forward. Liam walked beside her. The wolves limped behind. And for the first time since arriving at North Ridge, Maya felt the scales begin to tip. This battle wasn't over, but the truth was finally walking with her. The security office felt colder than the rest of the school, fluorescent lights buzzing above, walls lined with metal cabinets, and a wall of screens showing every corner of North Ridge High. The room smelled faintly of dust and old wiring. The kind of place students never entered unless something had gone very, very wrong. Today was one of those days. Principal Harris stood stiffly in front of the main monitor, arms crossed, jaw tight. Miss Monroe waited beside him, hands clasped behind her back. Maya and Liam stood together near the door. The wolves Cole, Mason, Ryan, and Brett clustered behind them, trying to look injured and innocent at the same time. Principal Harris didn't bother with small talk. "Let's get straight to it," he said. "Miss Monroe tells me there's a disagreement about what happened in the hallway." Cole stepped forward quickly. "Sir, she jumped us. No warning. We didn't even touch her." "Quiet," Principal Harris ordered without raising his voice. Cole swallowed the rest of his sentence. Harris clicked a file. A timestamp appeared. Today, 2:47 p.m., main hallway. The footage began to play. Students shifted nervously. The wolves exchanged uneasy glances. Maya stood still, expression unreadable. The video showed everything. Cole stepping in front of Maya, Mason spreading trash across the floor, Ryan setting up bottles, Brett recording. Then Cole lifted the noodle carton. Cole's chest rose as he prepared to hiss another lie until the next part played. There it was, clear as daylight. Cole's fingers clamped down on Maya's shoulder, initiating contact. A second later, Maya moved. The camera caught the joint lock, the takedown, the roundhouse kick, and the clean throws that followed every strike, measured and controlled. Mason's mouth fell open. That's edited," he blurted. "It's live feed," Principal Harris snapped. "Uneditable. Real time." Brett stepped backward instinctively. "Sir, we didn't know the camera was on." "Oh, really?" Harris clicked another tab. "Then why did someone access the camera control panel earlier today?" He pointed at the logs. "Right here. 2 hours before the incident. Unauthorized entry. Attempted deletion." Cole's face drained of color. Ryan muttered, "We're dead." Principal Harris turned slowly toward the boys, eyes burning. "Care to explain why you were tampering with school security?" Cole opened his mouth, but the words died in his throat. "Sir," he stammered, that wasn't my idea." The principal raised a finger sharply. "Enough." The wolves fell silent. Harris faced the screen again, replaying the moment Maya dodged Cole's stomp from the previous day's clip, the one they failed to fully erase. Cole paled even further. Everyone saw the truth now. There was no denying it. Miss Monroe exhaled slowly, the final pieces sliding into place. She looked at Maya with something softer. Respect, guilt, maybe both. Principal Harris pressed pause. The screen froze on the exact moment Cole reached for Maya's shoulder, the moment that started everything. He turned to the wolves. "You assaulted a student. You attempted to destroy evidence. And you lied to a teacher." His voice hardened. "This is unacceptable, and you will face consequences." Cole tried one last time, desperation cracking his voice. "Sir, please, that wasn't my idea." Principal Harris stepped closer. "So it was your plan." I didn't mean save it," Harris said. "You will all wait in my office. Now." The wolves shuffled out, broken, silent, their once inflated egos deflated to nothing. Cole looked back once, just once, his eyes filled with fear, not of punishment, but of Maya. Meanwhile, Maya stood still. She hadn't defended herself. She hadn't argued. The camera had done that for her. Miss Monroe gestured gently. "Maya, come with us." Maya nodded once. Justice was beginning to tilt in her favor. And for the first time since arriving at North Ridge, the truth was no longer hiding in the shadows. The atmosphere inside Principal Harris's office was thick enough to suffocate. The blinds were half closed, slicing beams of afternoon sun across the room like interrogation lights. A large wooden desk sat between Harris and the cluster of people who had just been marched inside: Cole Hale, Mason, Ryan, Brett, and behind them, their furious, embarrassed, deeply uncomfortable parents. Maya sat quietly in a chair by the wall, hands folded in her lap. Liam stood beside her, shifting awkwardly. Miss Monroe remained near the door, acting as both witness and support. Principal Harris didn't sit. He stood behind his desk like a judge issuing a verdict. "I have reviewed the footage," he began, voice cold and steady, "and I have heard enough excuses. What happened today and what happened yesterday was not a misunderstanding, nor an accident, nor self-defense on your part." His eyes swept over the four boys. "It was targeted harassment, violence, and premeditated assault." Brett's father stepped forward quickly. "Principal Harris, with respect, these boys are good students, athletes. This must be." Harris cut him off sharply. "The camera shows them planning an attack. It shows them stalking Maya through the school. It shows them initiating every act of contact." Cole's mother crossed her arms, scowling. "Maya attacked them too." "No," Harris said. Maya defended herself. She controlled every move precisely, and only responded after they made physical contact. Cole shifted in his seat, jaw tight, face pale. Principal Harris continued, tone hardening. "And as for the attempted deletion of security footage," he turned to Brett, "that is a serious violation, one that cannot be brushed aside." Brett looked down, cheeks burning with shame. Mason's dad tried another angle. "Look, boys do stupid things. This is being blown." Harris slammed a file down on the desk. "This is not boys being boys. This is criminal." Silence struck the room. Cole finally spoke, voice cracking. "Sir, I didn't mean for it to go that far." Maya didn't look at him. She didn't need to. Principal Harris exhaled slowly. "Whether you meant it or not, the damage is done, and you must face the consequences." He took a breath, then delivered the sentence. "All four of you are suspended effective immediately." Mason slumped back in his chair. Ryan's face fell. Brett's jaw dropped. But Cole just stared straight ahead, frozen. "And Cole Hale," Harris added, voice dropping into a lower, graver register, "the school board will review your case for potential expulsion and reassignment to another institution." A gasp came from Cole's mother. Cole swallowed hard. "Sir, please." Harris raised a hand. "Sit." Cole did. For the first time in his life, he obeyed without argument. The parents erupted next, angry protests, excuses, bargaining, but Harris shut them down with one curt statement: "The cameras do not lie." Every objection crumbled after that. When the room finally fell quiet, Harris dismissed the boys. Their parents herded them out, some angry, some ashamed, all defeated. Cole lingered for a moment at the door, staring at the floor, shoulders shaking with held-back fear. He didn't look at Maya. He didn't dare. For the first time, Cole Hale looked small. He lowered his head and walked out. Miss Monroe turned to Maya, her voice soft. "You handled yourself with dignity." Maya nodded once. "Thank you." Principal Harris added, "You did nothing wrong. You were protecting yourself." Again, Maya only nodded. As she stepped out of the office, her phone buzzed in her pocket. Master Chen. She answered quietly, pressing the phone to her ear. "Maya," his calm, steady voice said. "I heard what happened." She closed her eyes briefly. "We need to talk." "Yes," he replied. "Come to the studio." And just like that, the next chapter of this fight was already calling her. The old Kung Fu studio was quiet when Maya arrived. The sun already dipping behind the neighboring buildings. Golden light filtered through the paper screens, washing the room in a warm glow that softened the edges of everything it touched. The wooden floor creaked gently beneath her feet as she walked toward the center of the dojo, where Master Chen stood with his hands folded behind his back. He didn't turn when she entered. He didn't need to. "I heard," he said softly, voice carrying through the stillness. "The entire school is talking." Maya set her backpack near the wall and bowed respectfully. "Yes, Master." Master Chen finally faced her, his eyes calm but penetrating, reading her posture, her energy, the tension she carried. "Come," he said. "Speak." Maya inhaled, but her voice wavered slightly when she finally spoke. "I lost control." "You did not," Master Chen replied immediately. Maya's gaze flickered. "I used everything. Every skill, every movement. I didn't hold back. Her hands curled slightly at her sides. I shouldn't have done that. Master Chen approached her slowly. Why? Because, her throat tightened. Because they were just kids being stupid. And she gestured helplessly, guilt rising in her chest. I felt like I was punishing them, not defending myself. Master Chen let the silence sit for a long moment before answering. Maya, he said firmly, you did not start that fight. You avoided conflict. You walked away. You warned them. They chose the path that led to pain, not you. But I hurt them, she whispered. You stopped them, he corrected. There is a difference. Maya lowered her head, her breath shaking. I didn't want anyone to see what I can do. They needed to, Master Chen said gently. Her eyes lifted, confused. Sometimes truth must be forced into the light, he continued. These boys believed strength meant cruelty. They believed power meant domination. You showed them another kind of strength, one built on discipline, not ego. Maya swallowed hard. But people are scared of me now. Master Chen nodded. That is because they are still learning who you are. I don't want to be feared, she said softly. Then let them see your strength with your compassion, he replied. Not in spite of it. She looked away, the weight in her chest shifting, loosening. I don't want to be the monster they make me out to be. Master Chen stepped closer and placed a hand gently on her shoulder, the same gesture he'd given her after every difficult lesson, every test, every moment she doubted herself. You are no monster, he said. You are a warrior who knows restraint. You defend. You protect. And when pushed to your limit, you choose precision, not destruction. That is who you are. Maya's eyes softened. The breath she exhaled felt like something heavy leaving her body. She nodded slowly. For the first time since the confrontation, the guilt loosened its claws. Master Chen smiled faintly. Good. Now go. Rest. Tomorrow, you face a different battle. What kind? She asked. The kind where you must show them not just what you can do, he said, but who you are. Maya bowed deeply. Yes, master. She picked up her backpack and headed toward the door. When she stepped outside, the night air felt lighter, cooler, no longer pressing against her. She wasn't returning to school as the quiet, invisible new girl. Not anymore. This time, she walked back as someone who finally understood the truth she'd been hiding. She wasn't the victim in this story. She was the balance. A week later, the atmosphere at North Ridge High felt different, subtle but undeniable. The same hallways that once echoed with whispered mockery now carried something else entirely: caution, curiosity, and a kind of awe that followed Maya Jordan wherever she walked. Students no longer stared at her with amusement or judgment. They watched her with respect, real, earned respect. The morning sun streamed through the windows as Maya walked down the main hallway, her steps calm and steady. Conversations quieted, not out of fear, but out of recognition. Everyone knew what had happened. Everyone had seen the fallout. And everyone had realized something important. The quiet girl wasn't quiet because she was weak. She was quiet because she was disciplined. At her locker, Maya felt someone hovering nearby. She turned to find a freshman girl standing awkwardly, twisting the strap of her backpack. Hey, hi, the girl stammered. Are you Maya Jordan? Maya nodded. Yes, the girl swallowed. Is it true that you teach self-defense? Maya paused, surprised. I used to. Could you? The girl hesitated. Could you maybe teach me? Someone shoved me last week, and I didn't know how to respond. I just froze. Maya softened. She saw herself reflected in that fear, not the helplessness, but the longing to rise above it. I can help, she said gently. The freshman beamed with relief before hurrying to class. Maya closed her locker, but before she could take a step, 2 more students approached, then 3, then 4. A small cluster formed around her, each one with a different reason. I get bullied a lot. My little brother wants to learn. Can you teach us to be confident like you? I just want to know how to protect myself. Maya wasn't overwhelmed. She wasn't embarrassed. She simply listened, her expression softening with each voice. She nodded. "I'll set something up after school. Anyone who wants to learn can join." Students exchanged excited looks, whispering and smiling. Then Liam stepped forward through the group. He looked healthier now, more grounded, more sure of himself. His bruises had faded, but the gratitude in his eyes hadn't. He stood in front of Maya, hands tucked in his hoodie pocket. "I just wanted to say something." Maya tilted her head. "Thank you," Liam said quietly, "for standing up, not just for yourself." His voice tightened with emotion. "But for people like me, people who never had the courage to do it." She didn't need to answer. But she did. "You deserve a place where you don't have to be afraid," she told him. "Everyone does." Liam nodded, smiling through a breath that sounded like release. The bell rang overhead, scattering the students. Maya turned to leave, but Liam called after her, "Why did you really fight back that day? You could have just walked away." Maya paused, glancing back with a small, knowing smile. "I didn't fight," she said. "I did what was necessary." And somehow, the simplicity of the answer held more power than any punch she'd thrown. As Maya continued down the hallway, students moved aside, not out of fear, but out of respect. A few smiled, a few nodded. Many simply watched her with quiet admiration. Northridge High had changed, not because a bully had been defeated, but because a truth had been revealed. A silent girl is not a weak girl. A calm girl is not a powerless girl. And respect is earned through strength, not the strength to hurt, but the strength to rise. Maya Jordan walked forward, leaving behind more than a victory. She left a legacy, and just like that, the moment the bullies thought would break her ended up rewriting the entire school's story. Maya Jordan didn't just defend herself, she exposed every lie, every ego, every ounce of cruelty hiding behind those varsity jackets. By the time the truth hit the cameras, the only thing left standing was her discipline and their regret. Now I want to hear from you. If you were in Maya's shoes, would you have fought back the same way? Drop your thoughts below. And if this story hit you the way it hit me, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories just like this.